So my life before Manchester Active, I had addiction issues and I'd just got out of rehab. I wanted to be more physically active, but because there was a mess with my benefits, I was left with basic universal credit. I couldn't afford to be a member in a standard gym, but I wanted to be more physically active. Because I have a dopamine deficiency, I know that physical activity is the best natural way to gain it. So I had to find ways of finding exercising that were cost effective, and that's when I got introduced to Manchester Active. So I met Parveen, I can't remember where it was. It was in like a church building, and there was about 4 or 5 other people there. Again, I can't remember names, but there was a fitness guy there, and then Parveen was there. And Parveen asked her just a little bit to what level that I thought I was on and what I was looking for. And I just mentioned, basics. I'm not in shape, the situation that I've come from, and I want to get into better shape. I wasn't looking for very basic because I was more physically capable than that. And she gave me the idea of doing something at a sort of medium level and then building up from there, which was when she recommended the Abraham Moss activities on Tuesdays. So the first sessions, they were sort of medium active. So I was able to do them and at a sort of zone 3 heart rate level. So it was getting me tired, but not to the point where I was out of breath and needing to stop and take 5 minutes, etc., etc. So it was a really good level of introduction. And whilst I was there, I met Wesley. I can't remember how the conversation came up, but because I've always had a standard enjoyment of social sciences, that it came up about psychotherapy, and it was former psychotherapist at a prison, and I was using different strategies and how successful it was becoming when he was working with high risk criminal offenders. And whilst he was a psychotherapist there was no acts of serious violence or anything because of the way he was doing it, and that's how we first kind of met. The Abraham Moss thing was on Tuesdays, and I was unable to be going on that Tuesday because I started playing football on that day. And because of that, Parveen spoke to Jovino at J7, which was on a Wednesdays, wanted to go as well. So we went there. Now, in terms of autism and adaptability, so obviously with autism, it's not unified, everyone's the same. One of the issues that I have is I have undeveloped part of my brain when it comes to reflections. So I don't recognise myself in the mirror. If I use the logic frontal lobes of my brain, i.e. I'm in front of a mirror, it is a reflection, therefore it's a reflection of me. Yeah, I understand it. It's when my focus goes on to something else. So my inner core instinct brain goes, who's that? What's that? Which puts me in a state of panic. So what I did is I spoke to Jovino and talked about it, and he always made sure that we have the area we do the gym exercises that's away from the mirror. So if we're there, I don't get that state of panic, or if we go and doing an exercise circuit, the ones that are by the mirrors are the other way round. So my back is facing the mirror rather than towards the mirror. As much as it seems like it's a simple little thing, that the state of panic that it puts me in reflections, it's a blessing that I can do that, because the problem with mainstream oversized gyms is they expect you to pose within the mirrors, and because they're so large and there's so many people, you can't really expect them to turn everything round for you. So it's a big put off. And Jovino, really, I spoke to him about it, we talked about it, he was like, no problem. If, let's say we came 5 minutes late and someone had taken that corner, he'd get them to move and say, look, you can't go there, etc., etc. So after a few months at the Tuesday one, it was becoming too capable. Whereas the one on Wednesday, it's more intensive workout for 30 minutes. You don't get a breather, you get 20 seconds till the next exercise, and it's straight in like that, and more constant, so you're staying in that sort of zone 3, zone 4 heart rate for longer, getting endurance because of that. And yeah, we've enjoyed it, and everyone's friendly and get on with each other.
Before Manchester Active, I was isolating a lot, and I had been doing since about 2013. I'm a veteran, and I had post-traumatic stress disorder from being in the army. But then in 2013, I was involved in a machete attack, and I was quite badly wounded. I had to have surgery to reattach all the muscles and ligaments in my forearm. The injuries was substantial. After that, the PTSD symptoms were exacerbated, and I started to isolate due to severe anxiety about leaving the house. And because of that, I started to put on a lot of weight because I wasn't moving much, and I gained about 10 stone in weight very quickly over the space of about 3 years. Due to the isolation and comfort eating and the weight gain, I developed some health conditions, sleep apnea, which can drastically shorten your life, and also non-alcoholic fatty liver disease through eating basically just endless carbs, which in turn plays into the depression and anxiety. And I don't want to be seen in public because I put all this weight on. I don't want people to see me looking like this. I used to be fit. I used to run half marathons every week. I used to do bodybuilding, and now I'm morbidly obese, and it happened in such a short time. Initially, I went to see my GP about the weight gain, and they were monitoring the fatty liver disease, and we were talking about the fact that I don't really leave the house unless it's an absolute emergency, and how I felt when I left the house. And my GP mentioned Manchester Active. After that, I received the information, and I got an email or a text message, I can't remember which because it was a while ago now, from a lady called Parveen, and I went to meet her. We had a coffee. I was shaking, just sitting around people in a public environment. I was sweating, not due to the heat, just pure anxiety. That's how it is when I leave the house. And we had this coffee, and she told me what she could offer. And she offered these sessions at Abraham Moss. The session would be 1 hour per week on a Tuesday, and the coach is called Akil. So I said I was interested, and I'm up for it, and I really, really want to get my health back on track and lose some weight if I can. Parveen seemed really nice. She sat and listened to my story and took it all in, and she made me feel comfortable, and I enjoyed the chat we had together. So I went to the session, and I met Coach Akil, and it was just the right atmosphere at Abraham Moss for me to feel able to do this on a weekly basis. It was just one session a week. That's all I needed at the time. I'd go out the house once, and I need the rest of the week just to recuperate, mentally recuperate, not physically, and prepare for the next session. So this went on for a few months. Each week I felt a little bit better. I've now got a routine, and I'm loving the fact that I've got a routine. And I met up with Parveen as well several times, and she was checking on progress and making sure I was okay. It was taking a long time, but I was starting to feel a little bit happier with myself. So during the sessions at Abraham Moss, there was new guys turning up every now and then, and a fellow called Pete turned up, and somewhere along the line I mentioned that I was into social psychology and neuroscience. We got chatting a little bit nervously, both of us, and he sent me a link to a video about a prison experiment, which I thought was really interesting. And then I started offering Pete a lift to and from the gym and things like that. So we got chatting, and we became friends, and now we're like best friends, which is something I've not had in many, many years. But then September was looming, university was starting, and the university timetable clashed with my ability to attend the sessions at Abraham Moss. So I actually had to quit them in order to start university. So I explained to Parveen what was happening, and she said, right, we might be able to get you on another session in another place, which is at a later time in the day, around 6 o'clock. Would that be okay? I was like, that sounds much better. And again, I was just like nervous, like, oh no, not a new place again. The routine's changing, I'm struggling, But again, I was willing to give it a go, and Pete was offered the same. And that's when we went down to J7 Gym in Blakely Village, and we met Javino, who is the guy who owns and runs the gym. First thing he did was give me and Pete a big massive hug, shook our hands, and he was like, don't worry, you're going to fit in great here. I was anxious as well because I thought it was like a woman's gym, and it was just all women and me and Pete. I thought, oh no, I'm going to be looked at here, I don't want people to see me, sort of thing. Anyway, we just went into the corner of a room, and it was a high intensity interval circuit for half an hour, no breaks, and we got beasted for half an hour, and it was awesome. And 5 minutes into the workout, you're so knackered, that you don't have time to look at anyone else in the room anyway, so you just get stuck in, you're in the zone. Javino's shouting at you, but he's funny with it. He's a funny guy, so in no way does it feel threatening or anything like that, and you're smiling even though you feel like you're dying, and it's great. Having Pete there with me made all the difference. I probably wouldn't have been able to go if it was on my own, and it was perfect. It was perfect, and I loved it, and I still love it, and I still love going down to J7 every week. I'm not going to give up the gym sessions, and if Manchester Active loses funding or it comes to an end for whatever reason, I will continue at the gym at J7. I'll get a subscription there, and I'll keep going, even if it's just once a week. I need that routine in place. It's doing wonders for my mental health. I can't give it up now. I look forward every week to seeing Javino and the girls at the gym and everything, and they're all so welcoming. They feel like family. That's literally what it feels like. They're so nice. Javino's daft as a brush. He's hilarious. But underneath it all, you can tell he is a seriously caring person. He takes everyone's individual needs into account. He knows everyone. He's close with everyone. It's great. What a great guy. And Coach Akil as well. But you know what? Without Parveen, none of this would have happened. And Parveen's lovely as well. You know, without Parveen's help and encouragement, I wouldn't have gone to these places and met Coach Akil and Javino and the other people at the gyms and developed a routine. I think the first point of call, having Parveen, is ideal for Manchester Active. Speaking with Parveen feels like you've known her all your life. It's just so natural to chat to her, and that was awesome for me. That's what I needed. No awkwardness, just got on straight away, you know. And if I'm in the right situation and I get a chance, I'll make sure I thank them all properly for their time and everything they've done for me in the improvement of my life. I mean that. They've made a big difference. So thank you to everyone involved. If anyone else gets the opportunity to take part with Manchester Active, they should grab it with both hands, even if they're feeling super anxious about, you know, being around people, leaving the house, anything like that. You won't find a more accommodating group of people or groups to go to.
Both get stuck in, both get involved. So yeah, straight away when they're in, as soon as they came to the first class, really, we're raring to go. So it's good to have that positive mindset. I think them two have got to get straight into a class and then keep it going on a regular basis as well. And for me, they're a good laugh, so I was a good laugh with them every time you're doing it each week. They're always joking between each other, so you get involved with the banter and stuff like that. So that was the best thing for me, training them. But also seeing them, you know, as they've grown through the weeks, I can see their physical performance growing as well, which for me is what it's about as well. You know, they're here to change the, you know, physical appearance, physical fitness, but also, yeah, mental health side of things as well.
I remember Pete was so energetic. He was just so energetic that sometimes he'd run off too quick and we'd have to slow him down a little bit. But then once we got into the mode how we worked, it was brilliant. And then obviously Wes, I think he's a joker. So he'd always make a joke about something, but it's just about recognising in there that it's probably a bit of anxiety around the training, that it might be difficult, it's going to be hard, or I'm in this position now, I've not trained for a long time, so it's going to be difficult. So he makes jokes about it, and we make jokes back. And then that's how we kind of like slowly get them into it and get them enjoying it. And once you enjoy it, it becomes kind of like addictive. It's about a community feel, letting them feel comfortable asking me questions or being comfortable in that space with all the other people. Because like I say, when we're in a group training, it's about creating a community. If you have a community, people feel a lot safer and a lot happier, and that community supports each other. So for me, it was about creating that supportive environment where everyone felt welcome, where everyone felt part of something, and that helps to encourage people then to move on and progress.
They were just wonderful men, but what them two represent for me is what exercise should be. This is, and that was my thing from day one, making sure people got the real message from exercise. And what I mean by that is exercise is for all, exercise is for everybody. Pete and Wes were both nervous when they came in. Wesley's got a very, when he first come in, I remember when he first come in, you can see the nerves, man. You can see that it was a nervous situation, and it was something that was a bit abnormal to him. But just to see the way he walks in now with the confidence, knowing that, yes, it's going to be an exercise session that's going to be hard. He's going to be pushed, he's going to be challenged, but it's normal for him now. And his body language is just totally different from when he first come in. Pete, exactly the same with Pete, where Pete knows himself. And now I feel with Pete was when he first came in, he was working out whether this space was going to welcome him or was going to be right for him. But now when he comes in, you know, Pete, he looks comfortable in there. It looks like he's found a space that he knows that he belongs there.
No one was born being able to run. You start with a crawl, you get on you do a few steps, you start to walk, and so on and so forth. So let's forget about doing a huge amount of exercise. Let's just go for a walk. And when you walk, you talk. And when you walk and talk, for that moment, you lose a sense of isolation. And if it is to do with a healthy exercise, that's just a start. And start with a weekly walk. Then after a few weeks, twice a week. Right, let's go gym session for half an hour within that week and build up that ratchet rather than sudden jump into a lot. Exercise for 2 days a week, you'll have better fitness after a spell. And if you do it free, it'll be more, and that's it.
This is where you start. This is what's going to make you feel better. Jump right in with both feet. It's hard. I've been there. I was shaking, I was sweating, but I just did it and I tried it, and that's all it took. So go for it. And thank you to everyone. But especially thank you to Parveen, to Coach Akil, to Javino, and to Chris as well. So thank you to everyone.